Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, August 6th. It is 8 o'clock here in our side of the world, and it is time for some reading sprints. We are going to be starting our August read. I think both of us are. No, you already read yours. You already read it. Yeah. But it's a little bit different in August here. So if you're wanting to read with us, you have plenty of time because in August, we're actually reading a short story. If you're familiar with our book club, we do polls and we let our book club members pick. And we also ask for recommendations from our book club members. And this time we had one of our book club members put in a short story and it was picked. So we are reading The Summer People by Shirley Jackson. And that's what we'll be reading tonight or whatever you may be reading. So we're doing some reading sprints. If you're joining us, make sure you say hello in the comments. Looks like we have Andy here.
Happy birthday, Andy.
Oh, happy birthday month. Woohoo. I hope you're doing something fun. But before we get into our reading sprints and our chatty sprints, because we all know Dani gets a little chatty, let's talk about our September choices. We're going to go through the books that we're going to pick from. And then at some point this evening, I'll get those up on our community tab. And then you can vote on that. Unreal. Well, happy birthday.
Hey, that's great.
Today. Yay, and you're spending it with us.
Aw.
That's amazing.
You shouldn't.
Well, happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
What a great day. Hi, Kim. I hope you are doing well. Hope you're all settled in now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, per the usual, Laura's going to go through our picks for the books, and then I'll share my screen so that we can read along with her. So take it away, Laura.
All right. So we were trying to think of a fun theme for September. A lot of this year we've had you guys pick what titles, which is great. I'll ask titles again for next year, probably in October, so I don't lose track of things before it gets too close to 2025. But I thought, we'd do something kind of fun and kind of different. We haven't really done before. So we decided to pick something adventure fiction. So hopefully this will be really fun and just like a good entertaining time, and hopefully not rapey or sexist or like animal or child abusey. I don't know. I don't think so, but that's the goal, is just to have fun with these, right? Not serious books. So the first option we have is the start to a series. So it's just number 1. This is called The Heist by Janet Ivanovich and Lee Goldberg. All right. FBI Special Agent Kate O'Hare is known for her fierce dedication and discipline on the job, chasing down the world's most wanted criminals and putting them behind bars. Her boss thinks she is tenacious and ambitious. Her friends think she is tough, stubborn, and maybe even a bit obsessed. And while Kate has made quite a name for herself for the past 5 years, the only name she's cared about is Nicholas Fox, an international crook she wants in more ways than one. Audacious, handsome, and dangerously charming, Nicholas Fox is a natural con man, notorious for running elaborate scams on very high-profile people. At first he did it for the money, now he does it for the thrill. He knows that the FBI has been hot on his trail, particularly Kate O'Hare, who has been watching his every move. For Nick, there's no greater rush than being pursued by a beautiful woman, even one who aims to lock him up. But just when it seems that Nicholas Fox has been captured for good, he pulls off the greatest con of all. He convinces the FBI to offer him a job working side by side with Special Agent Kate O'Hare. Problem is, teaming up to stop a corrupt investment banker who's hiding on a private island in Indonesia is going to test O'Hare's patience and Fox's skill, not to mention the skills of their ragtag team made up of flamboyant actors, wanted wheelmen, and Kate's dad. High-speed chases, pirates, and Toblerone bars are all in a day's work if O'Hare and Fox don't kill each other first. So that is The Heist. Next up, we have another start to another series. This first book is The Chase by Clive Cussler. April 1950. The rusting hulk of a steam locomotive rises from the deep waters of a Montana lake. Inside is all that remains of the 3 men who died 44 years before, but it is not the engine or its grisly contents that interest the people watching nearby. It is what is about to come next. 1906. For 2 years, the western states of America have been suffering an extraordinary crime spree. A string of bank robberies by a single man who cold-bloodedly murders any and all witnesses and then vanishes without a trace. Fed up by the depredations of the quote-unquote butcher bandit, the U.S. government brings in the best man they can find, a tall, lean, no-nonsense detective named Isaac Bell, who has caught thieves and killers coast to coast. But Bell has never had a challenge like this one. From Arizona to Colorado to the streets of San Francisco during its calamitous earthquake and fire, he pursues what is quickly becoming clear to him is the sharpest criminal mind he has ever encountered, and the woman who seems to hold the key to the bandit's identity. Using science, deduction, and intuition, Bell repeatedly draws near only to grasp at thin air, but at least he knows his pursuit is having an effect, because his quarry is getting angry now and has turned the chase back on him. The hunter has become the hunted, and soon it will take all of Isaac Bell's skill not merely to prevail, but to survive. So that's book number 2, The Chase. And the very last one is The Reef by Nora Roberts. Okay, God, it's black writing on red here. Forgive me. Okay. Marine archaeologist Tate Beaumont has a passion for treasure hunting, one that she shares with her father. Over the years, they have had many fabulous finds, but one treasure has eluded them, Angelique's curse, a jeweled amulet heavy with history, dark with legend, and tainted with blood. It becomes bitterly clear that if the Beaumonts want to find Angelique's curse, they can't do it alone, so they form a partnership with salvagers Buck and Matthew Lassiter. Tate is infuriated and unsettled, not only by the prospect of having to share this precious dream, but also by Matthew Lassiter, a sea-scarred diver whose past is shrouded in mystery and whose determination to uncover the ocean's secrets rivals Tate's. He has an agenda as murky as his past. Forced to work and dive with the Lassiters, Tate grows more and more uneasy as the transparent waters of the Caribbean thicken and darken with shadowy deceptions and hidden threats. The Beaumonts and the Lassiters know that pooling their assets and experience is the key to locating Angelique's curse, but there are some things Matthew refuses to share, including the truth about his father's suspicious death several years earlier. For now, Tate and Matthew are reluctant partners until danger and desire begin to rise to the surface. So there we go. That's The Reef. I didn't tell you how many pages. So The Reef is, this is a hardcover. This is about 440 pages. The Chase, I don't know how many pages it is. I didn't look that up. I apologize. And The Heist is, I think, 330. I think. So.
The one you didn't have was The Chase?
Yeah.
It says 404 pages in the hardcover edition.
Okay. So not too big of a difference there, but.
And they all are just about at the 4-star rating. So must all be good.
Yeah, who knows? So hopefully one of these, obviously one will get picked, but hopefully we all enjoy whatever does get picked. And it is just a good fun time, you know?
Yeah. They all sound very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to read all of them.
Yeah. It's funny because that Nora Roberts book, I think I've seen that out of the thrift store like a million and one time. And I never buy her standalones. Usually I only read her series. So I never really pick up any standalones. So now I'm just like kicking myself like, dang, I already have this book. But anywho, so those I'll put into our community tab for voting, and I'll get those sometime this evening. So they'll be for sure done by the end of our reading sprints. But in the comments, let us know what you'll be reading tonight. Like I mentioned before, I will be reading, or I'll be listening to the short story that we have for August. So I'll probably finish it in the first sprint because it's like 20 minutes long. It's not that long at all. And then I'll be switching over to, if you watch my Spenelli Speaks channel, you know that I am trying to reread all of the Harkness books. So I have 30 pages left in A Discovery of Witches. And then I'm going to jump over to the second book, which is Shadow of Night, which this one was my favorite when I read it the first time. So I'm excited to get into this one. What about you, Laura?
I honestly have no idea what I'll be doing. I spent most of today trying to find titles for this. As I mean, you know this, obviously, Dani. And I asked my clients. We were talking about books for a long time with my client, and like, yeah. So I've been doing that all day long. I don't know what I'm going to read. I should start with finishing an article in Vanity Fair, so that it's done. I can move it on to my friend Jenna. I'll do that, and then after that, I don't know. I might try and work on that Riley Sager book. I've had a bookmark in for like 2 months now because it's creepy and it's freaking me out. But like it's very bright now and I'm reading with people. So I'll be safe if I read it now. So I'll try and find that and maybe read that. Yeah.
Cool. It looks like Kim is reading Ordinary Grace, which I have that on my shelves, and I keep thinking about reading it because we read This Tender Land and really enjoyed it by William Kent Kruger, for those of you who are wondering why I'm just talking at the end of a sentence instead of giving the full story. And are you reading that with anybody? Because I'm pretty sure I saw that Lindsay from Lindsay's, oh my gosh, now I can't remember people's channel names, but Lindsay's reading that too. So I wonder if that's part of something. I saw something where she was reading that, but I'm guessing that it's a very good book. Already read the story for tonight. So playing Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, and we'll listen to.
Oh, I really want to read Alazzoe. It looks so good.
I've never heard of that before. Well, it sounds like you have a fun night, especially being your birthday. I hope you have like a nice little drink by you, like whatever your favorite drink is. I had some tea and I already finished it, so I'm sad because I haven't even started reading and I already finished my tea. It was delicious. So I hope you have something that you enjoy nearby as well. Oh, okay. Reading with Melinda. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I have that on my shelves and I keep looking at it and going like, but it's like knowing that it's going to be a good complex read. I'm like, I really have to be in the mindset to like really enjoy it. You know, I don't know if we said this when we were reading before, and I know Laura, you and I have read Steinbeck together, but doesn't he remind you of Steinbeck?
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned
it. Yeah. I think so. I think maybe because it's all his story was written in the Midwest, so Steinbeck's stuff is a lot of Midwest landscapes and whatnot. So yeah. Well, not to give any spoilers, but what am I looking forward to in this short story?
Creepiness, ambiguity.
Oh. You know how I love a good ambiguous ending.
I know what's your least favorite thing.
It's not my least favorite thing, but it's not like a fun thing.
Right.
Yeah. I should do like a video of all my, like, these are a few of my least favorite things.
Yeah.
Ay. So I know we talked about this, whatever, but I'm like all in on this Discovery Witches stuff. And it's so funny, like rereading all the things that like I'm picking up on, like knowing how it ends and knowing what's coming is so crazy to like when they're talking about certain things, I'm like, you say that now, but wait 3 books and you're going to be changing your tune, mister. It's just crazy. It's so weird. And then like how certain things went down, like from my memory, like they went down differently. And then when I reread it, I'm like, oh, well, that was kind of like anticlimactic. And I didn't realize that happened then. Like in my head, I'm like, that happened at the end, but it didn't happen at the end. It happened toward the end. So yeah, I'm having a blast rereading this book. I can't wait to get into this one because remembering this as my favorite, we'll see. We'll see. But I can't believe they're like all 600 pages long. Yeah, this one's the same. I don't know how long the third one and fourth one is, or fifth one is, but yeah. Well, and it's funny too. So I can tell that this is a new print. Like they must have bought a new edition because it has the little thing that shows that the fifth book is coming out. And on the bottom it says book 1 of the All Souls series. But this being one of the original books, on the bottom it says book 2 of the All Souls trilogy. Because I really do believe she did not intend on this being any more than a trilogy. And I think because of the TV show and because of its popularity, she was just like, okay, and then continued on, which I'm all for that. Like, you write as many books as you want. But I did not enjoy the fourth book. I think the fourth book was not good. But I've heard that the fifth one is the best one yet from my subscribers, Pamela, who I trust very much so with reading. So she says it's the best one yet, and I can't wait to get there. So
nice.
Yes. Okay, so we're a good 16 minutes in. Shall we get to reading?
Sure.
Shall we do it? Okay. So per the usual, Laura and I will be muting ourselves. I will go and find some kind of ASMR. Do we have a theme we want to do for tonight? Do we want to do something creepy first because of the short story? Do you want to do something different?
I don't know. Maybe like an end of summer one, like a summer sunset. Would that be
summer
something?
Sunset? Okay, I will find a summer sunset. And we've been staying at like 25 minutes, so that's what I'll set it at. So we're at like 17 right now. We'll just pretend that it's 20 and we'll go to 45.
Sound
good? Okay, perfect. Well, enjoy your reading when you come back, or if you missed us, let us know what you're reading or and let us know how you did. Okay, good luck.
Wisconsin families count on the Social Security and healthcare benefits they've earned. Tammy Baldwin gets it. She rejected plans to privatize Social Security. Now Tammy is working to expand Medicare and Badger Care. Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep protecting our benefits.
Gold medal grace under pressure is an everyday occurrence.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a $455
Okay. That brings us to the end of that first sprint. Let us know how you did in the comments.
Yeah, did you finish?
No, I left it on regular speed just because the I wanted to be able to hear everything and make sure I didn't miss anything. The person who is reading it is like this old lady.
Mm-hmm.
It's so creepy. But so right now, I think I have 7 minutes left. So I've listened to 20 minutes. I have 7 minutes left. And right now I'm like, I think I know where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not quite sure like what is going to happen because I'm getting sick of hearing, but no one stays after Labor Day. Like, shut up. Like, can we stop saying it 1.5 million times? Like, we get it. No one stays. No one stays. But yeah, I'm taking notes because I don't want to forget at the end of the month when we have our live discussion. So yeah. But anywho, how did you do? What did you end up reading?
I did finish that article, so that was good. But I realized I left the Riley Sager book at my office.
No.
I know. I was like, dang it. So I decided to start another new book because why would I finish one of the 20 plus I'm already reading? So this is Gallows View by Peter Robinson. It's the first in the DCI Bank series, and I'm hooked on the TV show currently. So I thought, I'll see what the books are like, So yeah, I just started it. It's written in 87 or published in 87, so it's a little
see if it holds up.
Yeah. But yeah, so far it's all right. And there's a map at the beginning, which I always enjoy. So.
Love good map.
Yep.
You know, speaking of maps though, do you ever like read a book and it has a map and you're thinking, that's it?
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen that and I'm like, why even put it in there? Like, this means nothing. It's literally like the least descriptive map I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love a good map. I love what I love more than a map, a timeline.
Oh yeah, those are nice too.
Or a family tree.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I go back to it 1,000,001 times. So good. But yeah. So yeah, let us know in the comments how you did. So as it is the end of the summer and it's coming into fall, do your reading like did you like mood into like more fall like books, or do you just keep on reading like whatever?
I keep on reading whatever, but I do get pulled. I do want to read like thrillers and darker stuff. I mean, I don't want to say horror because not really, but yeah, I do, but I don't really do it. I mean, I just want to. How about you?
No, but I think it's more like how I feel when I'm reading. So like today, like, okay, so I've been reading these witch books, right? The Discovery Witches. And the main character in these books like drinks a ton of tea. So suddenly I'm all of a sudden on this tea kick. But I used to drink a lot more tea, but I think now because I've had kids, like I don't like drinking things that are hot because it's never hot when I can drink it. So it's kind of like I just don't do it anymore. But as of late, my kids have been a little bit less needy, so I've been able to have like cups of coffee. And so in the last like 2 days, I've had like 6 cups of tea.
Nice.
And I've switched it up. Like I had some decaf and some that is regular. But I think as it starts to be fall, like I start wanting to like, not necessarily the genre of the book, but like I want like a big fluffy sweater. I want like a blanket when I read. So I think it's more so like my external persona changes for the season. Like I used to read outside a lot in the summer, not so much this summer, and because obviously I have to be inside with the kids. But yeah, so I think my mood changes for the external reading experience more than with the book itself. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
No matter what season it is, it's always like a good time to read. I always think, oh, it's so hot and gross outside. Thank God I'm inside and I have AC and I can read. And if it's like cold outside, I'm like, oh, I can stay inside and read. It's like cool outside. I can just have a blanket and cuddle up. But I always am looking for or imagining this like fictional day that probably never happened in my life. But I keep thinking like for each season, regardless of the weather, like I just want to stay and read all day long. Like wherever I'm comfortable currently sitting, fine. Like throw a blanket on me because I always have a blanket. Even if the AC is on, I always have a blanket. It's more comfortable. I just want to read all day long and like not have an interruption unless I like want to go to the bathroom or refill my water or whatever. Like I just want to sit and read and like look out the window sometimes and then just read my book. That's all I ever want to do in life. Like just a day of quiet reading. It is so lame, but like I really want it so badly. And that like never happens. So yeah. That's all I want out of life, really.
I did that one time with the Dewey's readathon.
Yeah.
And it was nice, but it was also like very. So this is obviously before kids, but it took a lot out of me.
Yeah, it's hard to stay up 24 hours.
Well, and I don't think I stayed up for the full 24 hours. I think I ended up going to bed at like 1 or 2 or something like that. But I mean, I read an entire book for sure. I read What Alice Forgot. Yeah. And on top of other books that I had read that day too. So it was like total exhaustion the next day, not only from being awake that long but like reading that long. That was a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I would never do it again, but I remember that was a lot. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But yeah. This short story is weird. Like so far, like I'm hoping like it's not super creepy at the end, but like I think I know the direction it's going, and yeah. And at first, so when I think of this short story, I think of like her other short story that I've read, which is The Lottery.
Yeah.
And when you read The Lottery, it's kind of timeless. Like it could be set in any time. It doesn't really give any kind of idea of what the time is because, I mean, you could say, well, it's obviously in olden days because of modern conveniences, but realistically, that doesn't mean anything. It could just be a village that's secluded from everyone else, and it's, whatever. But this one, at first, I thought it was going to be similar, where it was going to be like timeless as well. I even wrote a little note here, like timeless. And then when she's buying stuff, she bought a bunch of baking dishes for less than $5. Yeah, no. So this is definitely like long time ago. And then she talks about the crank phone. And even though that's their phones are more modern, just the fact that the cottage has a crank phone still sets it out, and then kerosene as being the main form of fuel. So it's interesting to have it set during that time because that makes it even more creepy because it's like completely secluded. And then everyone keeps talking about how like no one stays. Well, what about you, Babcock? What about you?
Right.
Anywho, looks like Kim read 29 pages. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. It's really making me want to read that book. I think more so because I know I own it, so it's like, oh, I have it, so I could read that book. But I really need to read these books before the 23rd. So, because I don't want to have to renew them from the library.
I hear you. Mm-hmm.
Ay, 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 ay. Do you think you have a favorite book from this year yet?
I don't think so. I think I've just had a couple of 5 stars, and they're both. No, I had one more. I think I've had 3 5 stars. But the first one is I don't know, but I had 2 last month, and one was a children's book, which is not so surprising because I love children's books. But that doesn't. I mean, it counts, but it's not like a book. It's 30 pages. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this is my favorite book this year, even though it was 5 star, the other one I read last month. So I don't know. It's been a weird reading year for me. I've been focusing so much on trying to get rid of things and trying things out and DNFing, even not officially DNFing, but just like giving a few pages and going, no, and then moving it on. You know, it's not really DNFing. It's just like, meh. So I don't know. It's going to be a very bizarre reading year. So not really. No favorites or anything. How about you?
I don't think so. I mean, well, obviously, I don't want to count these because they're rereads.
Oh, but it still counts.
maybe the 5th one will be it.
Yeah.
Supposedly the best one, but
no, totally count.
Yeah, well, they're pretty good.
You're still reading it.
Yeah, I'm glad I finally finished that Glass and Steel series.
Oh, you did?
But yes. Oh, did I not tell you?
Mm-mm.
Oh, for everyone that's watching, I was listening to this series by C.J. Archer.
Long time.
Yeah, long time. Since the beginning of my channel, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's a Glass and Steel series, and the first one is called The Watchmaker's Daughter, and then it just there's 13. They're the same exact book over and over again. Except little tiny things happen that keep you wanting to like find out more about what's going to happen. And so in the final book, like nothing changes for like anybody that you actually want to know about. And then there's like a little blurb at the very end, like, oh, revisit your favorite characters in a new upcoming series placed 28 years later called The Librarian of Crooked Lane. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I've been waiting for 13 books to find out what happens to all of these side characters whom I love and adore. And now I got to go and read another series. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Oh. Well, sure. It didn't just like wrap up nicely, and
I mean,
nice,
it did, but it didn't at the same time. It got real like crazy, like when you're like dragging something along for so long, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I better wrap this up. That's how the last book felt. Because all of what happened was like all stuff that you're like, yeah, we get it. We know these people suck. They are terrible. And now all of a sudden you're going to finally prove that they are terrible people.
Right.
And then they did something with the main character that I see why they would do that, because it's like a poetic kind of like comes full circle kind of thing. But for me, I'm just like, that's lame. I don't like that you just did that, because I don't care about poetry. That didn't need to happen. So, but I am going to read the other series, listen to the other series, because it is available on my Hoopla. So
that's good.
I'll just keep going on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad to be done with it.
It really feels like an accomplishment when you finish a series,
Oh my God.
Like, I did this thing, and you want to tell people, and if you tell anyone, they're usually like, okay.
Yeah, 13 books.
Don't care,
But they really, I mean, I couldn't even tell you, like, a lot of the stuff that was in this final book, like, was referring back to some of the previous books. And I was like, oh, yeah, that happened. I forgot about that. And it's because they all just mesh together. Like, they're all, like, the same, except there's a different, like, villain in each one. And then all the storylines kind of keep progressing. But not by much. I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad I'm done with it. It wasn't bad. It was pretty decent. I mean, overall, if I were to just rate the series, I'd probably give it like a 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love series, though. I mean, that's my favorite thing is like to keep seeing what happens to characters. I love that. I mean, if I had patience, I would totally be into soap operas. But for me, I can't watch soap operas because I haven't watched them from the beginning. So for me, I can't just like start watching and like pick up from the middle. It bothers me so much. But I remember when I was a kid, my grandma used to always watch like Young and the Restless and Days of Our Lives and Dark Shadows. Oh man, I used to watch Dark Shadows like every day. It was the creepiest thing ever, but whatever. But now it's like I can't pick up in the middle. They've been on for like 50 years. It's a lot of storylines.
I know. Like in college, the late 90s, I got into Days of Our Lives a little bit. I mostly couldn't watch for like most of the years because I had choir every day at noon. So that's when it was on. I missed it every time. But one semester we didn't have choir. It was like only one day we had it at 12. Otherwise it was like 11 or 1 or something. It was a different time. So I could start watching it. And my roommate always watched it. She would go to the campus center and get lunch, and she would walk back to our dorm room and she would watch it. Well, and I started getting hooked in it too. And man, I got hooked fast. Same thing. I'm like, I'm not going to like this. It's been on for like 35 years. And I totally got hooked. I'm like, oh my God, what happened with Stefano? Like.
Yeah, Stefano. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man, when, what's her name? With an M. She's like the main character for a long time. She got possessed or whatever. And Stefano was always after her. Oh my God, why can't I think of her name? It's like something with an M.
There was one character that like fake died. I didn't know it was a fake death. I thought it was a real death. And like weeks later she came back. I was like, holy crap, my first resurrection.
Yeah. Well, and then like so Bo and Hope were always together, but like Billy came in, and there was two different Billies because first it was Lisa Rinna was Billy, and then she wasn't Billy anymore. It was a different actress who she was in Liar Liar, and that's all I've ever seen her in was Days of Our Lives, and Marlena. Thank you, Kim.
Marlena.
Yes, Marlena. Yeah, she was possessed by the devil or something. Yeah, and they're trying to like save her, and like Stefano was always after her, like crazy. I remember I watched a little bit of General Hospital. I worked at a credit union for a little while, and every time I went to lunch, it was like the only channel that worked when you're eating lunch, you just want background noise,
Yeah.
And General Hospital was always on. And I would get so like sucked in because I'm like, okay, so are there vampires in this show or is it what? And then there was like this witch with this little Timmy or something, and I was like, so is he like a doll? I think he's a doll. It was so confusing. And I'd go upstairs and I'd tell people like, so I'm watching this show downstairs, and they're like, you're making all of this up. I'm like, no, this is a real show. That's
go downstairs.
Go and watch it. Oh man. But yeah, no, I've never gotten I never. Yeah, I can't start in the middle of something, but anyways, I do love book series. Okay, well, shall we jump into another sprint? Get another one going there? Okay. Well, I'm going to try to find a different ASMR. That one kept pushing ads through, and I don't like that. So I'll try to find something different, and we'll do 25. So we're at 05 right now, so we'll just come back at half of the hour.
Sounds good.
Okie dokie. Good luck. Okay. That was a really fast sprint. Like
Eerie.
that, I feel like we just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do the
Right.
math right? Did I?
You did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just quick.
For those of you who vote in our polls, the poll is up on our community tab for September books. If you need a quick reminder, that was The Reef by Nora Roberts, The Chase by Clive Cussler, and The Heist by Janet Ivanovich.
Mm-hmm.
We have some new faces. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
And the last
Hi.
one I lied by Riley. Oh, see, someone else is reading a Sager. What's the one that you're reading? What's it called? That's okay. Sorry.
I think it's Home Before Dark. Is that it?
Okay, I don't know. I have not
That sounds
read
like it.
them at all.
I think that's it.
So, yeah. Oh, so I finished the short story.
Yeah.
And I'm really nervous because I have no idea how I'm going to get an hour discussion out of that.
Yeah.
So at least I have the whole month to think on it.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Lily mentions that this is the first time reading his books. I've not ever read any of those. I'm not good with like really scary stuff. And I know it's not like super scary, but like very spooky. And I don't know, I can't do it. I had to DNF that Southern book club, whatever, that vampire book by the guy who wrote, or I don't know if it's guy, I don't know who wrote it, but they also wrote My Best Friend's Exorcism or something like that. Yeah, no, can't read those books. It was too much. It was too much. I was like, nope, I can't read this. It's creeping me out. Oh, yeah. Allie, guess whose birthday it is today?
Mm-hmm.
Not me. Yeah, I hope not. I hope not.
No.
It just might not be all about the short story, but yeah, I'm gonna do what I can. Yeah, and some people do. They really do, and I don't.
I don't mind being scared if my personal life is fine. Like, then I can handle it. But if there's stuff going on in my personal life, or like in my case, it's always a family member who was like horribly sick, then I can't handle anything. Like, I need to, like, easy escapes. No. Like, nothing's creepy. But this is my first Riley Sager too, and it was fine for the first like 50 pages, and it started getting really creepy. Partly because it's like a haunted house thing. This one I'm reading, and haunted house stuff freaks me out. So I was like, oh yeah, this is now a daytime only book. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't mind like suspense. And I would say some thrillers, but like some of the thrillers that you read nowadays like do really border on horror.
Yeah.
And I don't, like even for movies, like I don't like horror movies at all. I'm okay with suspenseful movies. Like What Lies Beneath is probably the most
creepy.
into creepy scary that I can get. Otherwise, I don't like horror movies. I don't like gore. Like all the Saw movies, like I remember when those all started coming out and all my friends were like, let's go see Saw. And I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Carrie Ellis will always be
Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley. So no, I won't be watching him decide or not to cut his leg off. No, thank you. No. So, look. Yes. Once again, happy birthday. Yeah. I'm guessing you finished the short story already. Oh, it was good. So when that movie came out, I think I was in high school. I must have been in high school. And obviously, for most of us at that age range, during those years, going to the movies was a big thing. Like, you always just went to the movies with your friends, and it was always a big group. And I remember we were all sitting in one row, and I'm sorry, spoiler, but I mean, come on, this movie's like 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
When Michelle Pfeiffer's head like comes up from the bathtub and it's the dead girl's head.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Megan, who's on the very end of the row, screamed so loud. And then it was like a cacophony of screams because it was just like she started it and then it was like, like oh man, I'll never forget that. Oh, that was a good movie though, man. You really, because I don't know, I don't recall any other movies, and I mean, it's not like I've seen every single movie, but I don't know that there were any other movies where Harrison Ford, again, spoiler, but this is a 20-year-old movie, people, where he is like the bad guy. I don't think,
I don't know.
I've seen any. Like, usually he's always like the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good movie. I think about that movie all the time. Just because I mean, I love Michelle Pfeiffer and I love Harrison Ford. But I can't ever get the image of him say, "Get off my plane," out of my head from Air Force One. Anywho. Yeah. It's a good movie. They don't make movies like that anymore.
Not really.
Most maybe. I think every generation can say that about anything that they had. Yeah. Too funny. But anywho, yeah, so I did finish the short story, and it wasn't what I thought was going to happen, but at the same time, I am completely, like, I don't know that, like, confused is the right word, because I totally understand what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this is one of the things that I really don't like about short stories, is when they're just like, here's the ending.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen? Like, can you just tell us? Can you just, like write a full story that, like,
Right.
tells us what's going to happen? Because, I mean, yeah. But anywho, it'll be an interesting conversation, to say the least. I don't want to say anymore because I need a full hour later on. And then I just punched in our community tab stuff for our new poll. And then that was the 25 minutes. I was really surprised that I took that long to. I only had 7 minutes left of that story. Very confusing. I don't know where my time went. Probably finding a new ASMR, which I can. Is still on. We'll pause it. Okay. So yeah, how did you do?
Okay, I didn't get much read. I'm only on page. Let's see where I am now. I'm only on page 36, which is very slow reading for me. I had to stop a couple of times though and go back to the map. So the map is of the city or town. So it's just this one page. I mean, I know you can't see everything here, but like this is it. It's the whole thing, right? So they just mentioned 2 different places like people are meeting. One is on the map, and then someone was just murdered, and that house is not anywhere on the map. This is the first murder. Shouldn't that be in the map? So I was sort of like holding close to my face. Like, did I miss it? I don't think I did.
I feel like I did that a lot with that book we read last year. What's that? It was like a romance, a Jenny Colgan book.
Oh, Rosie Hopkins' Sweet Shop.
Yeah, I feel like I kept doing that with that map, because there's a map in the front of that book, and I kept looking at it and could never find anything that they were referencing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's I don't know if I've already watched this adaptation. I think I probably have. But it's about peeping toms so far, And then there are a bunch of like thugs that are in the like on the skirts of the town, and they've been like robbing old people, like breaking into their house, just taking small things and scaring them, not a big deal. And then now they're trying to like step up their game and do bigger things. And yeah,
I love how you're explaining this. Yeah, you know, breaking into old people's homes, stealing little stuff, not a big deal.
Well, I mean, they're not hurting anybody. They're just breaking in, like startling the old deers, and then like taking an ashtray. You know, like yes, it's still a crime. Yes, it's terrible, but you know,
they're not killing anyone,
right? And now it suddenly seems to be murder. So I don't know, but why wouldn't that first house be on that map? It should be. Anyway,
someone messed up, man.
I know.
Don't have a map if you're not going to put everything on it.
Right? I know. So I'm going to have to go back and see if I've already watched this adaptation in the series or not. I think I have. It's okay.
I just realized, so, like, for our TV, we don't have cable or anything like that. We like have Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, but like for the TV, if you just hook up your digital antenna, you get a bunch of free channels, right? And there's more and more every day. So every once in a while, you just do a new scan, and it'll like pick up all these different channels that are like free channels. And the last time we did a scan, there's like all these new channels popped up, and some disappear. So I don't know if they just don't run anymore, but whatever. But there is a channel on there. I think it's called Ion, and they have Midsummer Murders on there. I was like, oh my gosh, Midsummer Murders. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited, because usually I can only see like Midsummer Murders on the TV if it's like PBS.
Yeah.
And because it's like, I think they run them on Sunday nights on PBS. But now there's this other channel, and I'm like, yeah, because I mean, I just, sometimes I just turn it on just to have some background noise. But man, Midsummer Murders, gotta get me some of that.
I know.
I think they're like season 23 now.
I think so.
Yeah. It's so weird to like. So for those of you who don't know, Midsummer Murders is a British television show that has been in circulation for 23 seasons. And there's a lot. So there's the original DCI Barnaby, who is played by John Nettles. And he was amazing. And when you first meet him, he's like older, like in his 50s. And he stays like that the entire time he's on the show. Mm-hmm. Then his cousin, who's also Barnaby. Now I'm getting into this. Bartleby the Scrivener. Barnaby, who is his cousin, comes in and takes over his place, basically. He moves with his wife. And unfortunately for him, you meet him as a younger man, like in his 30s, and he ages. Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy ages. The old one didn't. He just stayed the same.
Yeah.
But the new one, he really did. I mean, nothing against him, but when I've watched, like, because I'll, like, rewatch the whole series.
Oh, yeah, I've
randomly.
Done that.
And then, like, all of a sudden I'll see a new episode. I'll be like, oh, my gosh, he has aged so much. And the funny thing is, the first time he was ever on the show, he was actually, like, a really creepy botanist of some kind.
Like,
and
losing up with all these ladies in town. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say, does he get murdered in his episode?
I think he does.
I think he does. They think he's the murderer, and then he ends up getting murdered. And then he ends up back in the show as the new main character. And I always think, like, because British shows, I feel like, do that a lot. Like, you'll see one character, and then, like, randomly, like, the next season, there's someone completely different. And you're like, what's that about? And you're like, well, it's just someone different.
I know.
But that's, like, a main thing. Like, he was in the show, and then he came back as, like, a main character.
Yeah. I just saw Jones in the newest season of McDonald and Dodds, and it was so nice to see him again. I mean, I know he's in lots of other stuff too, but
I love him.
We don't see him that much. I was like, oh, Jones.
He was the best. He was literally the best partner. And I love when he comes back
Yeah.
when he's undercover. Yeah.
Honestly, got a little teary when I saw him again. That sounds so dumb, but I really was. I was like, oh, Jonesy. So terrible.
And his accent is not the accent that he has on the show. Like when I've seen him in interviews, I'm like, why does Jones sound like that? That's not what Jones sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was. I did like Winter.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, and
then
Troy
was fine. Like, Troy was Troy.
Troy was my favorite for a very long time. I was
Golden
very upset when he left because I was like, is this how it's gonna be? Because he's the original, right?
Right.
And I thought that it was just gonna be him the whole time, and then they started to like change him out, and I'm like, oh no, so we're never gonna see Troy again. And then when they came back for the wedding, I was like, yes, for Cully's wedding. I was like, yes, maybe he'll be back. No. But then when we had Jones and he was there forever, even the transition, I was like, yeah, that's the best. I couldn't stand the guy in between Troy and Jones. He was an idiot.
He was. I didn't mind him though. I mean, he's fine, but I'm glad he didn't stick around more than that season,
He was terrible.
How do you really feel?
Listen.
I thought he was fun.
I did not like him.
Mm-hmm.
He was fornicating with the suspects.
Happens in TV shows all the time.
Not in Midsomer Murders.
Well, Troy got hit on a couple of times, and after it was wrapped up, or whatever, he like went off with people. Just wasn't during the investigation.
You know what?
Happened.
At least it wasn't. Yeah, but the other dude was a little bit like, she was a real suspect. I mean, real suspect. And then she ended up getting killed. Well, that's probably why it wasn't on the show anymore, because look what you did. Yeah, I love that show. I gotta rewatch it now. I gotta read my books first, and then I can rewatch the show. Are you watching anything lately?
Just DCI Banks, and then the new season 4, I should say, of Unsolved Mysteries was on. I don't know when it came out because I didn't have internet for several days. So when I checked Netflix again on Monday, I was like, oh my God, it's on. So I've already watched all 4 episodes, like sneaking them in, watching big parts. They're good. So one of them is about the Mothman. The Mothman scares the crap out of me. I don't know why. It totally scares me. And there have been so many sightings in Northern Illinois, like within the last 5 years. I mean, and it freaks me out. So I texted my friend Annie. We're both afraid of the Mothman together. I'm like, did you watch this yet? Did you see this? There's been so many in Illinois. They're getting so close. She was like, no, don't tell me that. I don't want to know. So yeah. So I watched that. But yeah, it mostly just been DCI Banks, pretty much.
Allie's asking if we watched The New Look.
No, I haven't even heard of that. What is that?
I've not heard of that. I wonder, do we get that here? I know Netflix is different everywhere.
Yeah.
My
mom started watching. She's almost done with it. It's I think it's a Polish TV series on Netflix called The Green Glove Gang. The Green Glove something. It's about, I think, kind of middle-aged or older ladies that I think they run a cleaning business, but they end up taking care of bad guys in their spare time or something. So it's good and it's kind of funny. I don't know, but she's watching that. If anyone has watched The Green Glove Gang. Also,
so The New Look is, if I'm looking at the right thing here, it's a story of how fashion icon Christian Dior and his contemporaries, including Coco Chanel, Pierre Balmain, and Crystal, navigate the horrors of World War II and launch modern fashion. That sounds very interesting, but I've never seen that before. I wonder.
Is that with no, that was Halston with Ewan McGregor. Never mind. Yeah. But no, I'll watch that for sure. I like fashion stuff. As you can tell by my terrible
for what I'm looking at, it says it's on Apple TV. Doesn't say doesn't say Netflix. It says Apple TV.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, here she's even saying about Coco Chanel and Christian Dior and World War II.
Nice.
Nope. I haven't been watching anything because I've been really trying to get through this book series, but yes, it is. But Only Murders in the Building, August 27th.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Have you seen previews for it?
No.
There are a ton of people in it this time. Because they're going to Hollywood. They're going to be made into a movie. So, like, Ava Longoria is in it. Eugene Levy's in it. Meryl Streep, of course. Zach Galifianakis. Molly Shannon. A couple more. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Nice. That's one I could rewatch, too. I mean, it's been a while since I watched
it. The show is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like Hollywood's little like project child, like, hey, you want to be in a cool project? And then like all these really big names are like, hell yeah, and then they go and do like a fun little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't, it's not like, being paid the big bucks. It's like we are doing something fun that is going to be good. Because yeah, like when Meryl Streep was in it and Paul Rudd, and I'm like, wow. And then now this season there's a ton. So it's always fun when there's something that is good.
Yeah. Something to look forward to.
Yeah. I don't know when Abbott Elementary is going to start back up, or Will Trent, because did you watch Will Trent?
Yeah, I just watched the season finale like a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to say this without spoiling anything. That was the right thing to do. I mean,
yeah.
But it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, realistically, that is exactly the right thing to do. If you're going to uphold the law, you can't pick and choose.
Right.
But yeah, wow. What a season.
I know. And at least here, that was like preempted or something. The last 10 minutes of the show was cut off for some like news event or something. So my mom sent me a text furious because she was like, what the F, like, I can't believe what is going on, blah, blah, blah. And it was something stupid that could have waited 10 minutes, whatever it was. It was just like a news thing. It wasn't like weather, I don't think. So she was like, I'm never going to see the last 10 minutes. How am I going to do this? Even though she has Hulu, which it's on. And I'm like, Mom, it's on Hulu.
You got to wait the next
watch
day.
it.
Yeah.
And she refuses. She's like, no, I don't understand how to work this, even though I've told her how to work it like, I don't know, 25 times. But yeah, I finally watched it and like, holy crap. I mean,
yeah.
A lot happens in the last 10 minutes. A lot.
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm also waiting for like the Lincoln Lawyer, but I don't think that's going to come out until next year. And like anytime there's a good Netflix show, like you really have to wait like a full year.
Yeah.
And sometimes 2 to get it. Still waiting on the Gilded Age. I don't know when that's going to come out.
I know.
So who knows? But let's do another sprint. Okay. So we're at the 55 right now. So we'll do 2:20 after. That should be 25 minutes.
Sure.
And yeah. Okay. Good luck, everyone.
All right.
Okay. I swear, those sprints go by so fast.
This time did seem fast.
Yeah. How'd you do?
Good. I got to page 65, so that's more like normal reading time. But yeah, it's good. How'd you do?
I have like 5 pages left. I'm so excited. It's technically 2 chapters, but I mean it's like 5 pages. It's not anything. So yeah. I love this book. It's so good. It's so good. I can't wait to start the next one. And I'm happy that I have it. It's like binge watching a show. I'm like going right into the next one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Let us know in the comments how you did with reading. Oh, such a good book. You know, and I think about the TV show and what they did with it, and I think it's actually coming to Netflix. I think I just saw something.
Oh, really? Okay.
That was posted on Deborah Harkness's like her page or whatever. I think on Facebook or Instagram that it's coming to Netflix, and I remember like when it first came out. I mean, this was years ago. I like specifically got Sling TV so that I could have AMC because it was on AMC to watch it. And Sling, like the last like 30 seconds of every show was always like cut off. And this was the kind of show that like always had something really important as like a cliffhanger. And I missed it like every single time. And then it just was not the cost of Sling was just not worth it for one show. Like, yeah, there's other shows I could watch, but I'm not a big TV watcher. Like, I watch specific things, so it didn't make sense to keep it. So I turned it off. Well, and then I ended up, my husband inadvertently ended up getting HBO, or now it's called Max or whatever, and they had like a special thing where they, for a certain amount of time, it was like a month, they were showing the series, and I was like, yes. So I like binged it in like a couple of days because I was like, I haven't seen any of the other seasons, and they did a nice job. Like they did an okay job, but like I don't know, there are some things where I was like, oh, that's not really how I would have done it, but they did do a nice job.
Yeah, I remember the first season mostly, and then the second season I think I started watching, and then just like with the second book too, I got a little bit into it, and then I just never picked it up again. And I don't know where I stopped watching early season 2, but I did.
Yeah. Well, see, I feel like they added a lot of airtime to stuff that never happened in the book. Like,
yeah,
it's stuff that we assume probably happened, but because we didn't follow those characters in the book, we don't know. But there were like whole storylines that were showing other like scenes that never happened in the book, but I mean are assumed things that probably happened. But that was irritating to me because I was like, you could have spent more time like with actual things from the book. Instead, you like created complete like alternate realities that, not alternate, but like this didn't happen in the book. I don't want to see what probably happened with these characters. Like, I don't know. I want to see what's in the book. Not. Yeah. And I know that Deborah Harkness worked very closely with it because, I mean, I followed her the whole time that show was on, and she, I mean, I think she was very much involved. So that always irritates me too. Like, the more involvement the author has, and then it's like off kilter, that irritates me too. But like I said, all in all, it was very good. And I think they did a nice job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the casting for the two main characters were spot on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then the casting for the other characters, though a lot of them do not look like their physical descriptions in the book, I think they did a nice job with the people that they picked. Like, I didn't have an issue with like anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I overall, like, none of the characters looked like what they're supposed to look like, other than the two main characters. Like, they pretty much look like what she described, but like nobody else. Everyone else looked completely different. Like, Marcus is blonde, but in the show he's brunette. Yeah, but like all of the characters are like that, except for the main two. Those two are definitely, and for some reason, and I think you and I have talked about this, like, in my head, everyone's a brunette. Like, every character I ever read is brunette, and I cannot imagine characters. So for the longest time, until I started rereading this, I thought that she was brunette. And then rereading this, I'm like, oh no, she is blonde. She keeps talking about her stringy blonde, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, huh. This whole time I thought she was brunette. But that's just me. Every character is brunette. Every character.
It's very bizarre.
It's so weird. I can't imagine people unless there's like been an image of them, or there's an image on the cover.
Yeah.
Everyone's brunette. And everyone has long hair. They don't have short hair. They all have long hair. I mean, men will have like a men's haircut, like a, typical, like, traditional man's haircut. But nope. So even if the author takes the time to describe what people look like, brunette.
Doesn't matter to you.
It doesn't matter. My head does not allow any other form of anything. No imagination here. Ay, ay, ay. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of if there was a series or a book right now that doesn't have a movie or a show or whatever, what would you pick to become a show?
Oh, I have no idea. Honestly, it's a good question, but no idea. What about you?
Oh, Winston Brothers.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Well, hopefully they would do a good job.
That would be like Virgin River style.
Yeah.
That's what I would want.
But spicier, because
as a TV show. Oh, of course. Yes.
Yeah, that's way spicier.
Like, I imagine the Winston Brothers series would be like the old school CW, WB style show, like Gilmore Girls. I feel like that would be like the style that show would be in.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, or like Supernatural. I know. I like one of these days I'm gonna have to like write down all of the brothers and their significant others, and then like pick, like do a casting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would like a redo of the Hamish Macbeth series. Is that TV show? It was done in the early 90s, and it is dog shit. Like, it is awful. And I love this series. It's still being published. It's like book 36 or something. It's just out this year. But it was terrible. Like, I get that you have to make changes for TV because it's a different medium, and I understand. But they took parts from lots of different books and just mashed them together in ways that didn't make any sense. So they took like murderers, and they took like the killings and the reasons why, and they just like pushed them all together and then like pulled out 2 or 6 things and just put them in an episode. So I was watching like these, it doesn't even make sense for how they're trying to explain it. I don't get it. And they made up all these different characters in the town that make no sense. It was just awful. It was awful. So if they could redo that and like not F with it so much, that would be great. You know.
What about that? Is it Louise Penny series?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was good. I mean, I like the people who were in it. They did a fine job. But what irritated me about that show, and
they did make it into a show?
They did, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They made a TV movie version with, is it Nathaniel Parker, the guy who plays? He was another police inspector with Havers. Barbara Havers was the character's name. Sharon Small plays her. Lindley, Inspector Lindley. He was Inspector Lindley. So he plays Gamache, and he did a very good job. It was a good job, that hour-and-a-half movie. And then Amazon did first season, at least, of Three Pines. And Alfred Molina plays Gamache, does a great job. But what irritated me and why I stopped watching it, I was getting so mad, is that they are pushing this story, which is true and accurate and needs more attention, and it's a valid thing, like absolutely included in things, but about all the missing Indigenous women, like the rapes that happen, how they just vanish from nowhere, reservations or not, like they just go away. But that whole like storyline, which again, very valid, everything that's great, like fine, it swamps everything else in the shows. So after like 2 or 3 episodes, it's all about all these missing Native women, and it's like, that's great, but it was making me so angry. That's not what the show was about. Like, it's in some of the books, yes, but that's not the focus. Like, that's not, like, stop it, don't do this. Like, what are you doing? Adapt the books, please. There's lots of stuff there. That stuff comes later, and it's, like I said, it's very valid, and it deserves to have a light shone on it, but don't swamp this long-standing beloved series by pushing it in, you know.
Yeah.
So I stopped watching.
I wish they would do more of like Nora Roberts stuff. I know that there's some of it, like her standalones will be like Hallmark movies, or not Hallmark, but
Lifetime.
And I thought, Lifetime does a few of them, and they're usually the standalones. But I'd like to see more of like the supernatural or paranormal ones be done.
Yeah, those would be great.
Those ones are good. The series ones, those are good. Because you could really make it into a series because of the way that they're written. They're like building a community amongst the people that they're involved. Because I think about like how the Cedar Cove, Debbie Maycomer's Cedar Cove series was created into a show.
Right.
And I mean, you really could, but yeah, there's a lot of things. The thing that kills me is like there are so many books and series and everything out there that you could change into movie and film, and yet movie and film, they just keep remaking the same things over and over again.
I know, it's a bummer. Yeah. Like A Star is Born is fine. Do we need 5 remakes? No, we don't. We really don't. We super don't.
I thought there were only 2.
No, there's way more. There's way more. The one
I haven't seen any of them.
The one from the 70s was like the 3rd version.
Oh.
I mean,
Barbara Streisand, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen any of them. That's not really my cup of tea.
Please stop doing them. Like, and what I don't understand is that they want to redo like decent movies or like good movies, but take something that was kind of a stinker or a bummer from like the 30s or whatever, when stuff was newer and there wasn't, you know, special effects or whatever comparatively. Like, remake that. That would be valid. Like, that's fine. Do that. What are you doing the same thing 1,000 times over again? Yeah. You know?
I'm sick and tired of all the like Disney reimagines where they're like people instead of animated. I'm like, no. Use that money and make a new movie. Why are you doing this? Like, so they have The Lion King, they have Aladdin, they have The Little Mermaid, they have they're going to be doing a Moana. Like, why? First of all, Moana is like a super new movie, and the second one's coming out, and now you're going to make a real life? No.
And Mulan, and there was Cinderella.
And Cinderella.
I know. It's like, I know like Cinderella's Beloved. It's from the 50s when it was first out or whatever, when the animated film was out. Like, that's generations of people watching this and loving it. Like, I get where you want to, like, put more money towards that, but also I don't get it. Like, no. The original is doing just fine, I think. I mean, cash-wise for Disney, I would assume.
Well, and some of them are good and some of them are not.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched any of them.
I haven't either. I just get annoyed and I think, no, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like, when you hear they're coming out, your first, like, emotion is like, oh, that's cool. And then, like, you let it sit for a little while and you're like, I'm not watching that. Yeah. Like, I was really excited for Cruella. Mm-hmm. And that really is more of, like, a different story. It's not just a remake, right? But I was like, do I really want to watch it? No. I still haven't watched it. I'm sure it's fantastic. But I was like, I can't do it. I love that movie. And then Little Mermaid was my favorite movie forever. Mm-hmm. It still is a very cherished movie. And I was so, like, up for watching the remake. And I was like, I can't. I don't want to ruin my memories. Like, and it looks like it's great. And I love Melissa McCarthy. So I would love to see her as Ursula. But, like, I can't. And yeah, I don't think I've seen any. The only that I guess I would consider a live action is the Maleficent, because that's technically Sleeping Beauty, but it is a different story. Like, it's a different story. I think that's okay, and I think they've done well. I think there's 2 of them. Mm-hmm. I only saw the first one. Maybe. Is there 3 Maleficents?
There's 2 for sure.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just wish that they'd stop remaking things and just make new movies. Mm-hmm. Like, just make new movies. Like, they do so well. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why there's not, like, a second. I was just talking about this the other day. I'm like, there's going to be 5 Toy Stories, but not a second. I was just saying this. What movie was it that I was just talking about? 'Cause it's so good. And there's not a
Zootopia?
No, that's coming out. That's having a sequel.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't know. It'll pop up in my head at some other point. Because, yeah, there's going to be a 3rd Frozen. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I don't know. Nope, it's gone. I'm fried. Fried. Okay, well, shall we have one more sprint and then call it a night? Or are you thinking you can't make it?
I mean, I may not make it. I'm really tired, and I have to have blood work done at 7:45 tomorrow morning.
Oh, my goodness. So, well, then let's call it a night.
What's irritating is, like, I want a snack right now, and I have to fast, so I can't have a snack.
I'm starving.
I just want, like, a pretzel rod. All I want is a pretzel rod. And no.
Oh, you poor thing.
It's okay. I know. Suffering.
Oh, Ratatouille.
Oh, yeah, Ratatouille.
Like, Ratatouille is such a good movie. Mm-hmm. And there's, like, no sequel in sight. And then you've got Toy Story 5 coming out, Frozen 3. Like, what the hell? Give me another Ratatouille. Literally, you can call it Ratatouille. Like, we need another Ratatouille.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's call it a night. You get to bed, and I'm gonna finish my 5 pages and see how I feel about getting into this next one. Mm-hmm. So this is so read. It's a library book. It's been so read that the pages literally feel like silk. Like, it's so soft. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be so. I shouldn't touch it with my face. So nice. I mean, the binding is really bad. I mean, you can see this has been taped a couple of times. but it's so soft. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Okay, well, everyone who's here or was with us, if you're watching this in replay and you got all the way here, you are amazing. But want to thank all of our lovely readers, our friends, and guests here. If you are new, thank you for stopping by. Hope you come back again real soon. The next time you will see us will be at the end of the month, August 27th, another Tuesday at 8 p.m. We will have our live discussion of The Summer People by Shirley Jackson. And that should be a very interesting conversation. So I hope you see us there. Follow us on Instagram for any updates. And we'll call it a night.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.